The Bert Show.
Hi, everybody. We really are plunge. Is this too
Isn't
dark?
this fancy?
It's loungy.
Okay.
It's very
It's loungy. We'll adapt.
Is this water or vodka? What do you got going on here?
I couldn't possibly
Not your business.
share that with you.
Well, she doesn't
Mine
know.
or yours?
She doesn't know what time zone she's in. Right? She just flew in from Paris to be here with you guys, which is incredible. That is like dedication. I feel like you have such a beautiful relationship with your fans.
Yes.
I mean, you give to them just as much as they give back to you.
It's a two-way street.
Oh, for
and
sure.
You know what's nice to think of? That audience and fans give me energy when I need it, give me inspiration, and I hope that I do the same for fans. You know, when you want, I don't know, to share excitement or build excitement or release whatever feelings, emotions. Yeah, it's definitely a two-way street.
So here we are back where it sort of all started, I think, in radio, besides soap operas and stuff like that. Do you remember where you were the very first time you heard one of your songs on the radio? I think that's still
yeah.
a special thing. At some
my
point, it's
God.
going to be like, hey, do you remember where you heard your song on TikTok? But we're not there yet.
It's like, TikTok? This is 1987. Seriously, I'm not exaggerating. I will never forget the first time I heard my song on the radio. I had recorded a demo of The Locomotion. I didn't have a label, I didn't have a clue, and I got signed for one single. And I was in the TV show Neighbours at the time, so people probably knew me more as my character's name from the show than my name, Charlene, exactly. And there was a radio show, and they had a segment called The Top 8 at 8. You would pick up the phone, dial the number, make a mistake, hang up, pick up the phone again, dial the number, call in, yeah, I'd like to vote for blah, blah. So it was the top 8 a day, and I was with my family in the kitchen kind of front room of our house. I could just picture it now. So new one at number 8, we've got blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And literally the further it got towards the pointy end, we were just prepping like, okay, well, that's all right. You know, it's okay. It's all right. Anyway, you know what the end of the story is going to be. They said, we've got a new song in at number 1, and it was my song. And
Freaking out.
Yeah, it was wild. And I guess that's the other part of that story that's really gorgeous, is that it was listener voted.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had a long way to go to kind of be accepted critically, but from the beginning it's been the people. So that's a nice segue from talking about the relationship with fans.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple articles out there saying that, I mean, you are just an institution when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. Yeah. And I was wondering, like, with this new album and Lights, Camera, Action and some of the songs on there, when you're putting an album together or you're working on songs, are there, like, particular fans that you have in mind that you, like, want to speak to them specifically through a certain song?
Yeah, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, seriously, all of them. You know, of course, there's a special relationship with that community, and I really, really appreciate that so much. But I think one of the reasons that is such a force is that I've always been welcoming to everyone at my show. I think of my first tours, and there was a lot of kids because it was, I mean, I was a kid myself, so the parents would have to bring them, and then maybe the grandparents would come. So it's like multi-generational, generations of families. And then as the years pass, it's like there's a row of Muscle Marys and there's some drag queens. But it wasn't, I don't single out to that demographic at all. I think I have an open mind and an open heart, and that extends to everything in my life. So, I mean, I might go, oh, I think they're going to go bust out some moves to Lights, Camera, Action, but I don't specifically, I think that would be...
Pandering of a sort?
Yeah, it would be...
Disingenuous.
I was about to use that
There it
exact
is.
word, disingenuous, and too, like, tactical or something. I think it's better to just be authentic and open. And I hope I can stay like that forever. Would be
Sure.
great.
Do you think that has been sort of your secret sauce for being in the business and the longevity, and it's just that they feel the authenticity from you all these years?
I don't know what the secret is, but it might be one of them. For everything I've done well and everything I haven't done well, that you can see. This is what I'm starting to understand, or try to understand at this point in my life, that I can deliver artifice, I can deliver glamour, I can deliver what we need to do in showbiz, but somehow, which I think is beyond me, but somehow people can see me as well. I don't want them to feel the effort too much, because there is a lot of effort. It doesn't just happen, but it should feel It's just for their enjoyment.
You haven't spent a lot of time thinking like, why me? What has made me different?
No, not a lot of time. I get asked a lot and I don't know the answer, and maybe I don't want to know the answer. I'm just still finding my way. I'm trying to figure the puzzle out, and the puzzle keeps changing, like all of us, in our different lives and worlds and careers. And, things could be going great one day and then next day it's not, or, something will fall from the sky and change your life.
To tag along with that, because show business, music industry can be such a cutthroat business, and it can be very, very difficult and hard on different levels.
It's not a picnic all the time.
I could only imagine. So as somebody you're a seasoned veteran, you've been doing this and doing it really, really well for a long time. Any of these new pop stars that are entering this realm, do you have any sage words of wisdom or advice for them to help get a better grasp of the fame and the notoriety and just the ups and the downs of the industry?
I would probably do. I'd love to have a cup of tea with them. Yeah. And it would just come up in conversation as opposed to being now. But I kind of wish I had someone like that when I started out. I really didn't. I didn't have anyone expressly give me those words, any words of wisdom like that. I had to kind of fish for it or absorb it. What would I say to them? I'd say trust your instinct. Listen to people, have good ears, have a good heart, be yourself. In every yesterday and every tomorrow, there's only one you. I've been through it where you try and not be that person, but be like that person or be a different version of yourself. But yeah, you're pretty cool the way you are. And you're a work in progress, so don't expect too much. I was just playing them this morning. Chapel, Sabrina, Billy, they're all they seem to have it all together. I don't know whoever does, so that's possibly not the entire truth, but the younger generation I feel like a 20-year-old today is quite different to when I was 20 years old.
I do feel like they value mental health more than ever before, because that wasn't something that you ever really got to really think of in the 80s and the 90s or even the early 2000s.
No, that was not discussed at all. No way.
Wouldn't it have been nice though to have somebody to be able to look out for your mental health or say no?
Yeah, when I started in Neighbours, there was a handful of us, a clutch full of the younger kids, and we all learnt from the older cast members. But I guess we had each other to, even if we didn't exactly sit down and have those conversations, at least know maybe some of the stuff we're going through, we're not alone. But I do think I can only talk about my industry and my experience of the industry, but it's obviously so encouraging that it is a topic of discussion. And again, I don't know about what it is to be a doctor, a firefighter, a lawyer, a shop owner or whatever, but as a performer, you're front-facing, and with those stresses, especially with your voice as well, it shows. So to be able to talk about things is so helpful. Even if you don't get to talking about it, knowing that you could talk about it and you could be heard, it makes a huge difference already.
So what I'm curious about is with the longevity that you've had and the success in different eras of music, obviously social media is a big part of music today, and it wasn't back in '88. So with you have been successful in both eras, do you have a preference, or do you think your career would look different if social media was around longer?
I do wonder what it would have been like if all of those social media was around. Firstly, I know those of us in Neighbours, there would have been hijinks all over the place. It would have been a PR disaster, but a lot of lols. I'm glad I experienced my kind of entrance into fame without that, but I have learnt to navigate it and embrace it now, and frankly, I enjoy it. If you know what that quote is from, do you know what that's from? Exactly.
Wow.
I was about to say it and I was like, don't say it, it's going to land. No one's going to get it. So that's not yes. So frankly, I enjoy it. I think there's pros and cons, of course, but it's fun when it works.
Do you have a thick enough skin to read the Okay. There we go. I don't know how anybody would.
I do see them. I certainly don't see all of them. There's things that I can't even think of an example, but someone say, oh yeah, and this has happened, or this in a magazine or on TV. I'm like, really? I'm oblivious to quite a lot, which is helpful. Yeah. But no, mostly say, my fans, thank you for those of you who are here today. Yeah, we all you want goodness and kindness and humour. Pretty funny.
Yeah. A lot of that's missing from the internet.
Yeah. It's like gone down some sinkhole. It's like, where is it?
So when you've had a career as long-spanning as yours and as successful as yours, I'm sure you look back on the early days of your career and maybe some of the missteps or the mistakes that you've made. Is
Are
there
you trying to say cringe? I was like, what's she going to say? Go on.
Well, I'm wondering, as somebody who's kind of in that part of their life where you're starting your career, like, is there a lesson that you remember that you had to learn early on that has carried you throughout the span of your career?
There's a lot. I'm trying to think of one really good one. This is a random kind of access point, but I saw not that long ago, it was Tom Hanks. Maybe it was in like Actors Conversation or something. And I'm going to paraphrase badly, but he's saying, you know, when things are going bad, and it's nice to, it was reassuring that even Tom Hanks has bad days. We all have bad days. He says, when things aren't good, you say, this too shall pass. And he says, and when things are going really great, this too shall pass. So the lesson that I think I said this before, taking forward, is there's no perfection. Just try to be your true self and do the best you can in the moment. And it's not always where you want to be, but have some patience.
You are the highest selling female recording artist from Australia, which is a huge honor.
Hey.
Sold over 80 million records worldwide.
All right.
I just have to know, who's the bigger name in Australia right now, Kylie Minogue or Bluey?
Bluey.
I saw you did some books for Bluey, though.
Yeah, my sister and I, Danny, we hey, we got to read one of the stories for the YouTube series. You can't do Bluey better than Bluey, but it was really fun to play the sisters. What a success. I mean, it's just gorgeous show.
I have a 3.5-year-old, and I would have kicked myself if I didn't bring up Bluey in this interview.
Okay, well, your 3.5-year-old might be a little bit gel, because when I did a show just a couple of months ago at Hyde Park in London, and Bluey made me a T-shirt which was my name but in the Bluey font. And I was like, I've made it. Yeah. That was a good bit of swag.
Are you as excited by the industry now as you were when you first started? There are so many new platforms and so much reinventing going on. Does it excite you? Does it intimidate you?
It can be overwhelming,
Yeah.
for sure, and there's rose-tinted glasses. I can look back and think, wow, we had so much time. What did we do? No, I remember kind of, you know, between promos or from touring Europe for promo or whatever, and kind of sneaking a 15-minute nap in the back of the car. But I've always loved music, obviously. It's a life force. But I feel more inspired about music today than I did back then, which almost doesn't sound right because I've always loved music. But my experience with it and the nuance and what I think I can do and what I hope to do, and also appreciating what I've done. So I'm really inspired about the music. The business, I guess so, if it's a means of getting your music out there and sharing that with people.
Do you have your hands in the business part of it a lot also, or is it mostly content-driven songs and you let other people handle the business? Are you overseeing that as well?
I leave the majority of that to other people, but I'm certainly a lot more involved in so many other ways than I was in the beginning.
I do think women in pop music are expected to reinvent themselves and take more creative risks than maybe their male counterparts. So I'm wondering if throughout your career, if you've ever reinvented yourself or taken a creative direction that maybe didn't feel authentic to you, or that you regret, that maybe you wish you would have done the more authentic thing at the time?
I guess I can have kind of a peace with myself knowing that I did what was authentic to me at the time, in that it's what I was trying to do. It wasn't, 90s, I wanted to be more like Björk or Shirley Manson from Garbage. You can definitely hear in that turning point, it wasn't about precision, perfection. It was like being a bit, the note isn't perfect. So was that authentic to me? Yes and no, because I'm not going to be that artist long term, but it was authentic in the moment that's what I was inspired by. That's what I was surrounded by. That was the 90s in London. So that was me at that point in time trying to be whatever I was trying to be. There's a lot of nuance in my response to that.
What's something you messed up that you wish you could go back and do over, or you learned from and you don't want to do it over, but
where
something
would I
you
even
messed up?
start? Loads of things. I still, I am predictably will come off stage and have to kind of offload. As much as my recent performances in Singapore, they were great. Everyone loved it. It was a great show, but I come off and I like, that wasn't there, was that? I didn't know about the stairs. Just troubleshooting. So there's literally tons and tons of minutia, which is fine. Big things, I can't think of one great example, but there's lots.
But they're there.
Oh yeah, in the cupboards there's lots. I probably just put them away and don't want to even think about them.
I feel like that's wisdom because you've gotten to a place now. It's like, all right, I did it. I lived. I learned from it. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it. Now it's time to file
And
away
I'll do
and
the same.
leave it there.
Moving forward, I'll do the same. But if you don't, for better or worse, I take the risk. I don't know. That's part of my curiosity and my nature. I've done that since the very beginning. I could literally trace many steps back to the start. And you want to get things right, but you have to do stuff and try stuff to get anywhere.
Of all the collaborations you've had in your career, is there one that's your favorite or your most memorable?
Kermit the Frog. Yes. I cried when I met Kermit the Frog.
Really?
I get that.
It was so
Oh,
emotional.
I get that. Yeah, I get it.
And it was hard to book Kermit. Because there's one Kermit. It's not like some other brands where there's multiples, but there's one Kermit. I tried to get Miss Piggy, she wasn't available. But yeah, that was a special one. And the other one that will be lesser known to the broad audience, but you guys all know, is Where the Wild Roses Grow with Nick Cave, which was just... There was nothing that wasn't so genuine. I mean, it's a murder ballad. Subject matter is gruesome, but he's such an incredible artist. And the fact that he had the desire to work with me for a number of years, and through that 90s period where there's a lot of postmodern irony, and if I didn't know that he was genuinely respectful of me, I might have thought, oh, this is for a laugh, this is for effect. But beautiful song, stunning video, amazing person, and he really affected my life. So I would choose him.
All right, let's get into the music here.
Shall
So if
we?
you wanted to sort of generally speak of how you piecemealed together this album, I'm never quite sure how the whole process works.
Me either.
Yeah, you still don't get it? Still don't quite have it.
Let's call someone. We're going to put it to our listeners, if anyone else. Sorry to interrupt.
I mean, no, you're not interrupting. Are there a ton of songs and you have to try to edit them down, which to me would be so difficult as an artist? These are like...
It's cruel.
It's cruel.
Yeah.
So how do you come out with the final product and how do you put it together?
I make a lot of lists. You can see it on pixels on your computer, but I like to have a pen and paper and write it. And yeah, just keep recording. I think for attention too, which is why we're here, and the reason that it is a sequel of sorts, is that we're quite used to now. There's an album and there's a little bump up, the repack, as Charlie XCX said it so brilliantly, same but with 3 more songs. We get that, and that's what we were aiming to do. And I think, that's great for listeners and for fans to have that little bit more, but I think as an artist and as a label, you kind of understand where you're at. So if you know, okay, these are the things that worked in the album, we could maybe spend a bit more time there. But after Padam Padam and Tension, well, we all saw me in a slightly different light and with new listeners, and I just had some great songs come through that, a year before that wouldn't have come to me. So we had some great tracks. I got in the studio with new people, got to go in with some old people and not old people. I am an old person, with some people I've worked with a lot for. And the list just got longer to try and cut to the chase. And it is hard when you're knocking out songs because for me or anyone who's working on them, you get attached to them. And it might be just because you liked the people, or there might be one phrase. I'm like hooked on that phrase. I want to get that message across, or there's one riff, or there's one hook, but that's not enough to make a song. So it's like, oh, what if I spend some more time on this one? This might work, or if I can get back in the studio with them, or there's all sorts of kind of considerations, but it comes down to the list and it comes down to my label saying, literally, you need to stop now. We could keep going, but this is it. We've got to make a decision.
And once you do make the decision, at that point, do you allow yourself peace and release, or are you still like, dang it, I should have fought harder for this song or that song?
I would always be going, dang it, I wish I'd had a bit more time. But there's a great quote about art and creativity, and is it ever finished? And I can't think how it goes right now, but if any of you know it, please yell it out. You just have to kind of stop. I have to let go. And I remember on Disco, which was wrapped up obviously through lockdown, and I was speaking with my A&R from my label, and there was so much more uncertainty at that period as well. And I just didn't know, have we got enough? Are you sure we've got enough? And he said, this is it at this point in time. And the way he delivered that message to me was really, really helpful. I went, okay, if it was in a week's time, that's when you stopped spinning on this record or making this record. Or in 6 months, I don't know, you just went, it's now, just handle now. And that was really helpful. So try and remember that as well.
Well, you guys heard Lights, Camera, Action on the way in, which is awesome. It's a great way to start
Thank
things.
you.
Taboo, are you listening with a critical ear or are you enjoying you?
I think that's the answer.
Both?
Yeah.
You know, there's always shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
My main feeling listening to that is like setting up my mic, setting up my recording studio. Yeah, mostly recorded that in LA in my hotel room.
In your hotel room?
Yeah.
Really?
But
Wow.
I self-record a lot, and I learned that in lockdown. And that's one piece of advice I would give to a younger artist, but they probably do anyway. Learn to record yourself. Take ownership of that. And I really, really, really wish someone had suggested that to me years ago.
How many of the songs on the
cables.
album were made in hotel rooms?
Did you want to asterisk by
Have you
them
got
on
the
the
list?
track list?
Well, Lights, Camera, Action I did. Taboo. Padam Padam I did. I mean, I've sent my favourites, not from this album, it's on, I think on Hold On To Now on Tension. It was like lock off, like it was crunch time. And I was at the wine convention, Pro Wine in Dusseldorf, because I have a wine range. And it was just a packed schedule, like I was literally pulled from pillar to post. And I heard a couple of harmonies and tiny little sprinkles to go on the song. And it would have been as easy just to voice note it, but I needed to play the song on my laptop with headphones to then have a clean recording on my phone. And the only time I really had a minute was in the bath. So I set up the laptop, press play, connect my Apple Pips, I call them my buds. I was like, great acoustics, and sent my extras. So, but normally I'm on a proper microphone. That was just that's just an aside.
Is that surprising for you guys? Yeah, that's very surprising.
Very
for me.
impressive.
Other ones from, I remember from, this is like really last minute, and it's going to be kind of in the, a sizzle in the track, so it wasn't kind of clear. But no, a lot of them I record myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Good Is Gone. Is that hotel or studio?
I did it. I can't remember it. Sometimes I do them in various places. Mostly that was in Australia. That might have been the day that I heard birds in my cans and I realised it was 5 a.m. I was like, shut it down, Minogue. Come on, just shut it down. And I'm still going, but I think I've cracked. I just want you like... It's so cool being able to just do it in your own time. Sure.
Do you visualize when you're writing the songs and you're putting them together where they're going to be heard? Do you see people in a club? Do you see people in their car? Do you see people in a hotel room?
Wow. That's a thought, isn't it?
Is it no thought at all? It's just like, this is my music.
No,
consume
I
it.
think less about where people will hear. I kind of think about how would this work live? What's the sensation? Where's the lift going to be? Where's the natural kind of tension? Where's the release? What are the lights going to be doing? What am I going to be doing? I kind of think about that more than, not to say I don't think about where someone might listen to it, but more about the live interpretation.
I just want to make sure the fans know this is also the first time we're hearing the music as well. So this is how, like, under wraps, like, they have been very protective of this album because it comes out this Friday.
Yes.
So, of course, Lights, Camera, Action is out, but the rest of the album, is that something you guys have to be so hyper vigilant of somebody, like, snagging a song and releasing it?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know how leaks happen. None of us know how it happens, but it's really unfair on the artist, even if it's a good song that goes out.
Yeah.
But it's not finished, it's not ready, it's not fair. So I know it's tough as fans. You're like, oh, we want to hear that. We want to hear the songs that didn't make it. But, you kind of go, I wish we could have delivered what we
Well, because
wanted to deliver.
there's so much work not only in the music but in the rollout too, with like how you envision
Yeah.
the world consuming your music.
Yeah, or you hear a version that's not very good, or you just, I don't know. It would be, in an ideal world, none of that would happen, but this is the real world.
But
That
this is an
we're-
ideal
that we're,
setting to do this.
Gravity's keeping us on.
Well, speaking of visualizing how people are going to listen to a certain song or where it should be heard, you know where I could hear that song is on RuPaul's Drag Race. I mean, we've already seen Padam Padam on the season finale this year, but is there a song from this new album that you could see really doing well on Drag Race?
There's a few. I think Good As Gone could. Lights, Camera, Action, for sure. I want to see, when is that drop happening? When's like the balloon release or the whatever it is? It's always exciting because I mean, I know the request is in for the song, but I don't see it until it's out. And that's part of the excitement of, whether it's RuPaul's Drag Race or something on TikTok or whatever. It's whereas people who are not involved with the project to see their creativity and what beats they pick up on, or I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the songs on the album.
Do you still get the same level of anxiety, if any, when people are going to hear your project for the first time at this point in your career?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely have more ownership over it, which is great. Like, I know I didn't just go in and record that day like the old days. But yeah, I mean, it's still like you get nervous, of course. But as soon as you play it with other people, even if it's to one of my best friends, you listen with different ears. It's really interesting. And to hear it, I like it when I can start to hear it or have enough songs that I can just kind of play it and vacuum or whatever. Or, fold my clothes, or just hear it in the background is very different to actively looking at it and looking for what needs to be made better. Just kind of let it live separately. So I'm excited for you guys to hear it. I know it's kind of slightly odd circumstances, but not odd?
Not odd.
Not odd?
Not
Okay.
odd.
The anxiety is high. They probably have more anxiety than I do because I know what's going to happen when we hit play. You have no idea. But,
You can dance if you want.
we don't have all day, so...
Kiss Bang Bang? There's kind of a sinister feel that she has when she's listening to this.
Yeah, we've been saying in our little close circles, do you know the show Killing Eve? Is it Villanelle? I'm kind of in that era. There's a few songs on this album, like it started with Padam Padam having that kind of hypnotic, slightly eerie feel, and I think Kiss Bang Bang's the same.
You had mentioned, you couldn't hear it because the music was playing, but you had mentioned something about the videos, and now I'm really interested in sort of the order of things. You said a video probably won't be made for that, but when the songs come out, do you already visualize which are going to have videos and which aren't?
It depends which ones are singles, and I don't know that one's a single, but I have a vision. I was like, if I ever made a video for this, I kind of know what it would be. But we might not get to that. But now I might have to see this through because I've mentioned it. We'll scrape together a budget and make it happen. It might need a video.
And do you have a team of people that come to you with ideas for videos for songs, or are these all out of your brain?
I've worked largely with this amazing woman, Sophie Muller, she's unreal. Like, she is an incredible director. She's been doing this her entire life, and she's such a good collaborator. Any video I've done with her, even the last one, Lights, Camera, Action, there's so much conversation goes into before you even get to the video. She always likes to leave a little bit of room for the unexpected, mayhem, like you can only plan as much as you can plan. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes there'll be treatments will come in, but I've got a real love for her, and we have a love for what we can create together. So, yeah, it's normally just the two of us. She's going, what are we going to do? I don't know. What are we going to do? You're under pressure and you come up with an idea.
And then a bottle of wine later, you have a music video.
Yeah. Well, the one we did before that, Edge of Saturday Night in Ibiza, was really, really fun.
Oh, that sounds
I
so
mean,
miserable.
I went pretty wild.
Yeah.
Just naturally wild.
That was well deserved.
Thanks.
You want to tell us about Someone For Me before we play it?
I do, because this is a real front runner of the song. I heard it as a demo, so I just fell in love with it. This one was recorded in my hotel as well, in Mexico. It's produced by Lost Boy, who produced Padam Padam. And yeah, it's basically, speaking of Ibiza, it feels like you're in Ibiza. There's a kind of a group vocal part that feels quite Brasileiro. And lyrically, I think it's super, super clever, and it's about being happy for your friend who's found their person, but you'd really like the same thing yourself. So this is it, Someone For Me. Lyrically, it really got me, and I feel like I'm in Ibiza, so that's, I think that's one of my favourites for sure.
Well,
You do love to make people dance, which we all appreciate immensely.
I do. Well, I'm like a little maniac myself, and I don't know what the middle is for me. I'm either kind of on or off. Like, typically, I'll be the person that doesn't want to go out. No. And then I'll go, and I'm the last. If the music's good and the vibe's good,
Wide open.
I'll be one of the last men standing.
You know, I asked you the obvious question earlier. Where were you the first time you heard a song of yours on the radio?
Yeah.
Have you been in a club and your song has come on?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that awesome?
Yeah, it is awesome. Last time that happened was, and the last time I'd like literally 4 a.m. Everything hurt, but I was just on cloud nine. I had such a good time. It was after the Met Gala. And yeah, the DJ played my song a couple of times, and I was like slightly embarrassed. I'm like, now what do I do? How do I look cool? And so I just danced because I thought I can't not be kind of moving to my song. But everyone really loved it, so yeah, it's normally good.
You seem to just have this zest for life. I was watching an interview with you, and I don't even know who the host was, but you got a mention on Hex, and you were so excited about it.
I'm so excited.
I'm like, you're
so
Kylie
excited.
Minogue.
I know, but I presume largely that you don't know who I am. Like, Natasha Lyonne knows who I am. That's amazing to me. The fact that anyone and everyone, but yeah, I just would presume like, well, they probably haven't heard of me.
You're so excited. I'm like, don't you know who you are?
Well, I do, but I don't know. I guess maybe that's part of my drive is that I still feel like I'm discovering and I'm trying to prove to myself, to other people, like I want the output to be better and for my creative satisfaction and journeys to be better, deeper, more expansive, more blah, 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 blah. And I just don't assume that anyone knows who I am.
I think you said it's part of
Hi,
your...
my name's Kylie. Thank you for being here today.
You said that's part of your drive. I have to say, I think it's also part of your charm. Like, you've been so lovely and gracious today. I mean, just even, we had a chance just to introduce ourselves to Kylie before coming out here. That way it wasn't just like, you know, a cold meeting in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament just how at ease you put people around you. And I think that's a really sweet, positive energy to have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We've got questions that some of these guys here have sent us also. Are you ready for these? These are the,
Here come the
these are
hard
the
hitters,
driving
yeah.
ones.
All right, so the first question is from Aaron Dana. What is the one song you wish you had recorded that ended up being recorded by another artist?
Toxic, Britney Spears.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear that?
Because it's the same writer as Can't Get You Out of My Head. And at the time, I don't even know if I heard. I was like, Toxic? I don't know if that's me, a song called Toxic. However, it is Toxic with Britney Spears, and we can't imagine it any other way. But yeah, that's the big one.
There was no pause there. It
No.
was like immediate.
Quick.
No.
Like, you knew.
Okay, this one comes from Austin Vaden. Yes, sir. What's up, Austin? You've been doing a lot of awesome collabs lately, but is there a dream collab that you would like to happen?
So many. Thanks for that question. It's a tricky one. Because there's so many, and I've just been saying of late, yeah, there's the titans, you know, Beyonce, Rihanna. There's like just so many amazing artists. So I'm kind of loath to choose one. I said forever and ever Brandon Flowers. Like, I really would have loved to sing with him. But I don't know. I'm going to kind of wimp out on that one. And I don't...
Well, you already threw out three
I'm scared
names.
if I really like say it, it might not happen. I'm kind of just leaving it to the...
Okay.
To the, you know, the ethos.
How does that even happen? If you have somebody in mind for a collaboration, do you make that call yourself, or do you have your people call their people, and then it starts that way?
These days it feels like it might happen more because you meet someone at a party. Sounds like I just party. But it might happen that way. But generally it comes through the correct channels, which I probably miss some of those things as well.
All right, this one is from Mike Dolan. How do you deal with tension in your everyday life?
Okay, hey, Mike. How do I... Can someone else, just to break it up? You, sir, how do you deal with the tension in your life?
Listening to you. Listening to you.
That's very cute.
That's a perfect answer.
I mean, I might, you know, go wild and run a bath, call a friend, put some music on, make another cup of coffee. Like, just, I think, doing something, anything. I'm trying to, like, it's a really good question. Like, little tensions, I just would try to busy myself, I guess. That is good. That, you know, you make the dopamine and burn some calories at the same time.
You don't
I
burn
do-
candles and meditate?
I actually do like a good kind of power meditation on an app. You know, 10 minutes, 25 minutes will actually, it's miraculous. You know, you're going at 100 miles an hour and you think there's no way I could stop. I'm not going to have a sleep. But that reset is really powerful. Yeah, I mean, bigger tensions, like, you know, real adulting grown-up stuff, I find that now that I do a lot of self-recording, that's been a good escape for me when I just get really, really focused. I'm not distracted by anything. I'm a bit like a bug. I'm kind of like distracted by things. But recently...
You can do it everywhere.
I can do it everywhere, yeah. Exactly. Like, I mean, it's like the last thing that would occur to me is to like film myself or a little bit, but I don't really have much record of it. I'm so in the moment, I just want to get it down. So yeah, if I could, how do I deal with tension? Go to the studio would be my ultimate. Just write, create, be with people, make stuff.
Okay, this next one is from Juan Carlos Ordonez Sanchez.
He's actually in the house, Mo. He can ask a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yes, sir. Take it over, Juan.
So I'm mostly curious about what we can expect on tour. Like maybe a set list or maybe
Are
themes.
you kidding? Are you kidding? Listen, I'm sure you're the nicest guy on the planet, but there's no way I'm sharing my set list with you. For one, well, I couldn't anyway because I want it to be the excitement, but I don't know it yet. I don't. It's literally, it's a WIP right now. Like we are back and forth, and I mean, it's so kind of moving to me to think my first couple of tours, I didn't have enough songs to really feel a set, and now I have so many songs that I can't put them all in a set. So choosing what to keep in, and it's always tricky. Like this is the Tension tour, so we definitely want to represent Tension, some of Tension 2. You've heard like, I want to hear someone from me on tour. I want to hear Lights, Camera, Action, of course, but I'm Tension. But how far back do I go? Well, just which songs. So no, I can't share the set list with you. But I'm really excited about it, and I'm generally just excited about the tour.
We can share that you're going to be back in Atlanta April 11th. Okay. All right. That we can share.
So you coming?
I know you.
Show?
Yeah.
We'll get a little glitter on you.
Come on.
Okay, this next one is from Cameron Daggett. What is your favorite outfit you've worn on tour?
Oh,
Ooh.
that is a
If there
good
was a
one.
museum, Kylie Minogue Museum, and it's the only costume that represents who you are, what is it?
It's not a tour outfit, but I guess the gold hot pants are really like symbolic of me, but that wasn't on tour. Okay, I've got it. It would be the opening outfit from the Fever tour.
What did it look like?
Well, firstly, I was in like this cyborg kind of structure, and it revealed a little kind of, I can't even believe I wore it now, like a skirt the size of a belt and a little bra top, but all in diamante. Yeah.
Apparently it was memorable.
It was, yeah. It was really, this was 2002. Millennium's just happened. It was meant to look futuristic, feel futuristic. Yeah, in its simplicity, it was quite amazing.
Has your costume designers ever brought something and you're like, oh, hell no, I am not wearing that?
Yeah. Even with that one, I was in Milan with Dolce & Gabbana for that fitting, and I was just like, really? And I said, yeah, you'll be fine. I was fine in the end, but now it's more about, there's just the really boring practicalities of how do you get in and out of this in a hurry, what's under it, how does this work? And I think it was slightly easier years ago where not everyone had phones. You presented the tour for people's eyeballs to see, and now it really has to work super high def close up, and it has to work for people at the back of the venue. So set list and wardrobe, really, really, really tricky.
Is there like an emergency contingency plan that your designers go through with you before you put something on to say, okay, this might like somehow snap, so just be ready?
No.
There's not.
Really? You'd think we should, but sometimes we've tried to bring that into practice. Mm-hmm. Honestly, we have lately. I was like, well, what? Can we just have like a backup? Don't need something for each section, but stuff goes wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Some snaps, or it's really dramatic. And you might have heard me talking of late or whenever about stress of the quick change. It's like what happens in quick change stays in quick change because it gets really dramatic.
Do you have to practice that? I mean, are you like timed the first time and then timed the last time?
It.
You are?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's
and
like
then there's a kind of barter session between people at the front. They're like, we don't want you off stage for so long. Okay, you've only done it a couple of times. You're going to get faster. So there has to be a compromise. I don't want to be off stage for too long either. Trust me, I go as fast as I can. It's hectic. Yeah, so it's kind of choreographed as 3 people. Someone's on shoes, someone's on that. But
Those are people you got to trust, and they better sign an NDA.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
What is the average time spent changing from one outfit to the other? Is it 15 seconds? Is it 30 seconds?
It'd be more than that. You could smash something in 60, 70 seconds.
Okay.
It depends. Some might be you keep the same shoes on so you can kind of do a quick... Some are faster than others, which are a relief.
This is how his mind works, because I know what he's doing right now. We're going to sometime this week do a Bert Show quick change. And everybody...
This would be amazing.
Uh-huh. And everybody's in studio. We're going to have to see
But
how
who's your quick change team?
See?
Can you handle the pressure? This is the question.
We have to pick each other's team.
Oh, you're in competition with each other.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
Always, I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, they're like Formula One pit stops is the best.
Looks like it, right?
Well, do the outfits have to be constructed in a certain way so they can be quick change? Like, are there magnets on some of them? Are they not like, typical?
We really appreciate a strong zip.
Okay.
Don't give us these little. No, you need to be able to like manhandle stuff, like really be aggressive with, and that then go out and they're working like they're like the draft horse or the quarter horse of horses, that they need to be strong and do the distance. Poppers are good. Maybe a bit of Velcro, like anything and everything we need.
All right, so Kylie, for Lights, Camera, Action this week, the Bert Show is going to start the Kylie Minogue Quick Change Challenge.
This is amazing. I did not foresee this happening, but we promise.
Promise.
Oh, yeah. We'll do it.
100% this week. We will.
I'm going to be tuned in.
Yeah, during a portion of Lights, Camera, Action, we will have that amount of time to switch an outfit and see if we can do it. And
Okay,
we
you
have-
better be mindful of your undergarments. for that time.
Thank you for the warning.
It seems so intense. You said it's a 2-hour show, but there's so much intensity going on between what's going on stage, the wardrobe changes and all that. Right after the show, do you need downtime, or is it impossible to have downtime?
It's kind of impossible, yeah. Even if the common sense of your brain is saying, good, done, you need to rest till tomorrow. The adrenaline in your body it goes for hours. You might not be active and doing things, but it's a process to wind down, yeah.
Okay, this next one is from Kylie McMaster. If you weren't a singer / actress / style icon,
If you weren't you, who would you be?
Someone else.
what career would you like to try?
My kind of fantasy other life, or a path that I really think I might have gone down. Graphic design. I'm a frustrated graphic designer. Let's talk fonts, let's talk spacing, let's talk layout. Very, very fantasy career path would have been linguist, which sounds a little odd because I don't even speak one other language fluently, but I love the musicality of language, and I'm a good mimic. I'm a good parrot, so that would have been... I feel like that would have taken me around the world, possibly.
Well, we appreciate your time. Have you guys loved this? I mean... We don't do a lot of these. In fact, like Kristen said, this is the first one.
We've adjusted to the darkness as well.
I know, right?
I'm sure you can all appreciate you haven't been under ugly lights for the last hour and a half.
So the album is coming out on...
Friday.
Everybody here has to commit to buying it, right? All right. It's already bought.
There's probably a few pre-orders in here. Thank you very, very much.
Is there anything we haven't covered today that you want to cover, or we get it?
Oh, I think you get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of wild that I haven't done this kind of a sequel before, and I really appreciate that, it kind of does what it says on the tin, Tension 2. We did give the title some thought, but we thought Tension 2 just makes sense. So I'm glad that people are on board with this is just a little bit more. I feel like you've got the picture of Tension, and it's just like we've gone to widescreen, and to have these songs to play with on tour, and to have something kind of fresh with the tour announcement, it's kind of all seems to fall into place.
On the days leading up to the album being available for everybody, are they nerve-wracking days? Is there a sense of calm because it's over? Do you check the numbers? Do you have people calling you and telling you what the sales are?
I would know how we're tracking, but hey, I just hope it reaches a lot of people. I'm not going to put that pressure on myself.
Good.
Yeah.
Man, this has been great. Kylie Minogue.
Thank you so much.
So fun. Thank you so much for coming in and coming to Atlanta.
The Bert Show.